Beneath the quiet currents of California's Sacramento River lies a forgotten relic, a 66-foot sailing yacht named Nam Sang. Built in 1934, she was a marvel of wood and sail, racing across oceans from San Francisco to Honolulu and New Zealand. Her decks carried dreamers, racers, and rogues, none more enigmatic than Richard Johnson, a man whose shadow looms large in her story. From her gleaming launch to whispers of crime to a final fateful collision, this is the complete story of Nam Sang, a tale of adventure, ambition, and a ship lost to time. In 1934, at the Graves Yacht Yard in Marblehead, Massachusetts, a 72-foot yawl-rigged sailing yacht took shape from planks of sturdy oak and teak. Designed by the firm Belknap and Payne, the Nam Sang was built for offshore racing and long-distance cruising. Her lines were classic: narrow beam, deep keel, the clipper bow cutting through the waves like a knife. At 28 tons displacement, she measured 72 feet on deck with a 14-foot beam. Launched that summer, she was soon bound for the West Coast. By 1937, Nam Sang had crossed the American continent by rail and arrived in San Francisco Bay, home to the St. Francis Yacht Club. Her first documented owner was Oscar Johnson, a San Francisco businessman well known in yachting circles. Under Johnson, she earned the nickname the Ice Follies Yacht for her graceful performance in local races. Oscar Johnson skippered her to notable finishes, including the 1939 Trans-Pacific Yacht Race from Los Angeles to Honolulu, where she placed second in Division A, corrected time 14 days and 2 hours. Oscar Johnson was a fixture in West Coast sailing, basing Nam Sang at St. Francis for years. I would mention here that the Nam Sang was owned by 2 different unrelated men with the last name of Johnson. It's quite a coincidence because the first was Oscar Johnson at the beginning of her life and the other was Richard Johnson at the end of her life, and as you'll soon discover had quite a turbulent history and was also the man that ended the life of this legendary sailboat. After World War II, Nam Sang changed hands. By the mid-1950s, she was acquired by Louis Statham, a Los Angeles electronics magnate. Statham transformed her from a traditional wooden yawl into a technological showcase, what a 1959 Sports Illustrated article called a mechanized marvel. He installed electric winches, hydraulic steering, radar, and an innovative diesel auxiliary engine. The article detailed her refit from a clunker with outdated rigging to a queen of the seas, complete with custom electronics worth thousands. Statham's upgrades made her faster and more reliable for ocean races. That same year, under new owner A.B. Bob Robbs Jr. of the Los Angeles Yacht Club, Nam Sang entered her 5th Trans-Pacific race. The Sports Illustrated piece highlighted her as a veteran, no stranger to Honolulu's waters. Robb skippered a crew of seasoned sailors through gales and calms. A follow-up article, titled A Rough Ride to Honolulu, describes the fleet's brutal conditions. Nam Sang veered south in heavy swells, logging 11 days, 6 hours elapsed time, finishing 8th in Division B3. Her mechanized aids proved vital, navigating by Loran and radar amid 40-knot winds. Nam Sang's racing legacy continued. In 1961, Robbs returned with her. By 1965, John W. Thompson of the Santa Monica Yacht Club took ownership, sailing her to 4th in Class C. Rumors persist of interim owners, including Paramount Studios and a record label executive, though records are sparse. Throughout the 1960s, she voyaged to New Zealand, losing her mast twice in the Bay of Islands races, earning her a reputation for adventure and resilience. In 1973, Nam Sang arrived in Auckland under American owner Richard Johnson, a pilot and sailor seeking cheaper repairs. Johnson, unrelated to Oscar, had acquired her stateside, but debts mounted, and by December of 1975, the New Zealand Supreme Court, under Justice Coates, seized her to settle Johnson's liabilities. Sold at auction, she passed through several hands, including unverified ties to South American smuggling rings and organized crime, ferrying goods between California and Latin ports in the late 1970s and 80s. Nam Sang's path in those years is a bit murky and ideal for stories of discreet cargo. Teak hulls like hers hid compartments well. but it appears to be hearsay as manifests show legitimate charters. No direct evidence links Johnson to these activities, but whispers and rumor add a shadowed mystery to her log. In 1992, New Zealander Rich Brown owned her. Converted to a sloop, she towed a traditional New Zealand canoe known as a Maori Waka Te Aru. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but you'll have to just go with it. This Pacific voyage would once again put the Nam Sang in the limelight. But in 1993, Richard Johnson resurfaced using the alias Bob Thompson. Posing as a retiree repping a Sacramento doctors syndicate, he chartered her for $5,000 monthly with a purchase option. After one payment, he vanished with the yacht, uncleared by customs, solo across 6,000 miles of American Samoa. Damaged by storms, she limped in after 38 days. Johnson flashed outdated U.S. papers, convincing Samoan officials that the Kiwi title was fraudulent. Brown protested, but the Nam Sang sailed free. This caper capped Johnson's pattern. Earlier in the 1970s, he'd stranded crew on another yacht, the Blue Orpheus, after overcharging for a trans-Pacific sail. Accusations of fraud trailed him from Indonesia to Mexico. In 1993, New Zealand police noted his lack of ownership since 1975 and that he had actually stolen the Nam Sang from New Zealander Rich Brown. Back in California, Johnson and his wife Deborah lived aboard the boat at the St. Francis Yacht Club. Here again is another one of those interesting coincidences. The Nam Sang was first owned by a man last named Johnson and was moored at the St. Francis Yacht Club in San Francisco. Here, at almost the end of her life, she is once again at the same yacht club and owned by another man whose last name is Johnson. On February 4th, 1995, during high water from El Niño rains, the Nam Sang is motoring downstream on the Sacramento River in Sacramento, California. Skipper Richard Johnson radios the I Street Bridge tender. The spans lift, but unmarked power lines belonging to the Southern Pacific Railroad graze the top of her mast. Nam Sang heels over and begins taking on water. The boat was pushed up against the base of the bridge and could not be rescued. There were 9 souls aboard that day, including 3 children, and all escaped injury and scrambled to safety. The Nam Sang settled in silt about 20 feet down, a teak relic in the Sacramento River. Salvage attempts failed. She remains there, a submerged monument to her glory and grit. It is a mystery whatever became of Richard Johnson or his alias Bob Thompson. Court records show a 1996 lawsuit against Southern Pacific Railroad after the sinking dismissed, with the Johnsons fined $128,000 for negligence. Johnson resurfaced online in 2002, hawking ceramic grills to raise salvage funds. After that, there is no further public trace. He fades from the logs, perhaps retired or evading old debts, or by this time probably no longer with us. Either way, it appears that folks are a little safer with their boats with Richard Johnson out of the picture. From Marblehead Launch to River Grave, Nam Sang logged 60 years, 5 transpacks, 2 owners named Johnson, and a trail of triumphs and tangles. Her story, a vessel's voyage through time, unmoored by human hands. As always, I want to thank you so very much for watching my video. If you found this interesting, I'm sure you'll find other things on this channel interesting. There's over 1,000 things here. Meanwhile, please put a like on there, share it with others, and subscribe if you will. Thank you very much.